Hello everyone, I am here this evening in the Anza Borrego Desert. Not necessarily a classically Christmas setting, but it's the kind of Christmas I love because the Anza Borrego is one of my favorite places here in Southern California. And tonight we are going to be making a nice, relaxing campfire. The Anza Borrego has very strict campfire regulations. So you have to have it in a container that has a bottom. So a lot of you would probably fail that challenge. But it cannot, basically the idea is that no embers can make contact with the ground. And you also have to pack everything out when you leave. So you can't leave a single trace that you were ever here. You can't just build the fire in the ground and then cover it with some sand and leave. And the reason for that is because, well, I guess I'll get started here and then I'll explain as I'm making the fire. We just lost the sun. It's around 4 something. I don't know what time it is, but it doesn't matter because we're on desert time. So you'll have to forgive me because a problem that I have this evening is that I do not have kindling. I have newspaper and I have firewood, but I don't have anything in between. I don't have any of the sticks and things that you need to sort of help get it going. And another restriction here is that you're not allowed to forage for sticks, And all of these things, I'm sure to people who live in areas that are more, loosey-goosey, it probably sounds crazy, but it makes sense because the ecosystem here is very, very fragile. And so somewhere like the Anza Borrego, they don't get a lot of rain. So if I were to make this fire in the ground and then I just put sand over it and left, it would stay there forever, for a very long time. And imagine if everybody did that, then it would just be a shithole garbage dump of bullshit. Sorry for my language. I don't know. Anyway, why don't we go ahead and get started? So, I'm hoping that this firewood works a little better for me than the firewood that I got the last time I came here, because I know I just said it doesn't rain a lot here, but actually the last time I came here it had just rained, and so the firewood was wet because it had been outside of the gas station. Also, my little stove here is, it's not going to win any awards for biggest campfire container. It's very small, in other words. So normally I can only fit maybe 2 logs in here at a time. I guess my point here with all this is that I know that, well, you know what? I'm not even going to put a disclaimer. I'm just going to do my thing. And if you don't like it, you can just go F yourself, basically. Sorry, I didn't mean that. That was very rude of me. I apologize. I'm very glad that you're watching this. So I guess the sort of rough agenda for things that I wanted to discuss tonight is, every Christmas now, as an adult, I feel very odd because when I was younger, Christmas was probably the most pure joy and happiness that I could ever feel, and that probably I ever will feel. Even if I didn't necessarily get a lot of great presents, or all of that. For some reason, it was just kind of an energy, and I think a lot about this really with any holiday, because when you're a kid, holidays I guess, in other words, when you're an adult, a holiday is just a day, like any of the rest of them. And when you're a kid, it's more of a state of being, I don't really know how else to explain it besides that, but also, this kind of is technically not good either to do. I'm going to use this Nature Valley bar or Nature Valley bar box in lieu of kindling. And they say with cardboard and all that, it's like there's dyes and things and adhesives and bindings and what have you that are not necessarily good to burn. But this is an emergency situation because we don't have our precious kindling. Not a Amazon Kindle for reading. I wonder why they named it the Kindle. Because it's not like you burn. Is that supposed to be about burning books? Because if so, that's kind of offensive and fucked up, if you ask me. Kindle. Well, like they're implying that you use books for kindling. That's kind of messed up. What else could it be? Anyway. Okay, let's see if we can. I got this lighter that you can bend all around, floppy. So that should hopefully help us here. Okay. Let's start this newspaper. So the Anza Borrego is inland a little bit. If you look on Google Maps, it's kind of closer down towards San Diego than it is to Los Angeles. But I really like it because, I guess when I first moved here, my sort of go-to was to go out to Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley and places like that. Actually, for all the cinephiles in the audience, Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie, One Battle After Another, was filmed right out here. That famous scene with the hills at the end. That was filmed just a stone's throw away from where I'm sitting, believe it or not. Okay, this looks pretty good so far. I think we're gonna. Hopefully, it won't be too much of an ordeal to get this started. And as a matter of fact, you can, maybe I'll even go take a picture of the actual Texas Dip, it's called, is the really famous dip where, if you haven't seen that movie, you really should. It's really good. It's I think, one of the best movies that has been made in a long time. Paul Thomas Anderson's just an amazing director. And Paul, if you're watching this, I'm a huge fan. I would love to maybe get coffee sometime. Or maybe if you want to come out here to the Anza Borrego, we can make a little campfire together. And, just talk about life and what have you. Okay. This is where the lack of kindling starts to become a problem. We're just going to have to keep feeding it until hopefully one of these logs catches. Because I don't even have that much, what's it called? Cardboard? I'll have to go in the car maybe and look for some more. To get this newspaper, I had to go in that thing that looks like it's from the 1950s. That you open the thing and you take it's like you put a quarter in it, you open it and you get the newspaper out. But I don't think that I've had a quarter in my possession for years. I don't even remember the last time that I had a quarter, because the laundry machine in my building, they changed it to an app. So now it's like you just it's kind of silly actually. You scan a QR code when you want to start your laundry, and it's every time I get locked out of my account and I have to reset my password, I always think it's so stupid that it's like, I can't believe I forgot the password to my laundry. What a fucking hellscape, dystopian hellscape that we live in. But that's okay. There ain't none of that out here. And something that I find, neat about the desert like this, and I guess really any nature, but, it's been this way generally. Obviously, climate change and human activity and things have changed it. But if you were sitting out here, I don't know, thousands of years ago, it probably would be the same. That's a massive generalization, but hopefully you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, these guys are starting to get they're getting licked a little bit. So we are, this is not a fool's errand. We are eventually going to get somewhere here. And I also got my tongs. Okay. One of the other reasons why they're very strict about fires is that, obviously it's very dry out here. So one wrong move and you could burn down the whole city. And that's really not an exaggeration. I mean, just at the beginning of this year, we had all those issues with the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. Wow, this is, you know what? Hang on just a minute. I'm going to turn the camera. I hope this isn't cheating, but I just want to show you guys the clouds here, because check that out. Check that out. Hang on a minute. Yeah. Wow. Uh-oh, there's me again. Hi, those are my shorts. So obviously the Subaru wouldn't have been there 1,000 years ago. And there's that road. I don't like to go too far away from the road when I'm out here, just, in case I set myself on fire or there's an emergency of some sort or what have you. Okay, we're close. We're very close. We're close. What was I saying before that? Well, anyway. That was some kind of something flying around. I hope, I actually would be really thrilled to see a scorpion or something of the like, because I've been coming out here forever and I never see one. I've never seen one. Can you believe that? Never seen a scorpion. It's very sad. So hopefully that'll change. Don't get too excited, because this is just the newspaper burning. That's not. It's a good start, but it's not what we need. I'm not sure exactly what the temperature is out here right now, but I mean, you can see I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, so. Anyway, I really don't want talking about this to be sort of a sob fest, feel sorry for me, I'm so depressed. I don't want it to be a downer. So, at the same time, I do think that I don't know if it would be out of bounds for me to say that most people feel, how do I put this? Well, I wonder sometimes how often people feel happy, like in general, Because for me, I'll just be totally honest. I would say that at every moment throughout the day, I am aware of myself not It's like no matter what happens to me, I'll never feel better than a 7. You know, or an 8, maybe a 7 or an 8. But it's like, the only real way to describe it here is honestly that I just feel like I'm trapped in my body. Like there's a physical heaviness that I carry around with me, that I feel in my body itself. Does that make sense? So it's like, no matter what I'm doing, I almost feel like I'm a little, and I guess I feel this way because that's kind of the way that it is, but I feel like I'm a little dude, you know, with the controls, like in a cartoon, there's a little guy with the controls in the head. It's not, like, it's like my mind and my body are not transcending into just being. It's like I'm aware of both. Does that make sense? So, okay. I'm wondering, because I don't want this to be... It's starting, but it's not... This container, I think one of these days I'm going to have to get a new one that's a little bigger. No, maybe this is always the part where I give up. And I'm like, I'll never light this fire and it'll never happen and I should just give up. And then eventually it works. But I don't like to, use lighter fluid or any of that stuff because I think that's just horrible. It's horrible. So I don't remember feeling that way when I was a kid. When it's like the older that I get, the more sort of weights get put on my back. So the longer that I'm alive, the more I carry the weight of being alive, you know. Like when I was a kid, I remember feeling like, not that I wasn't aware of my body, but I really felt like I was just the energy of my being, you know. And that doesn't mean that I don't have good times or that I don't feel happy. It just means that I think that I'll never get back to that again, you know, unless I don't want to, I want to be careful. I don't want to be too specific here for the YouTube guidelines, but the only times that I ever feel free again, the same way that I did when I was a child, was, if I'm sort of under the influence of something. And I don't know if that's because I've had issues with addiction and so I am sober now, So I guess I'm not really sure if this is a way that everybody feels, or if this is just a problem with, being an addict of sorts. But, getting sober really felt like I was accepting. I remember one time online, I saw a photo of it, like, a pillow fort in the basement or something, and it'd be like, oh yeah, remember when you used to be a kid and you could have a pillow fort, and it was so comfortable, if that makes sense. Like, I remember looking at that picture and thinking, it is not possible for me to feel that way. And maybe that's a weird thing with me too. I don't know, but I remember looking at that and being like, it is not possible for me to be comfortable like that ever again. Even when I am lying down, when I'm getting ready to sleep, when I lay in bed and I'm falling asleep, I am so uncomfortable and fidgety, and I'm just like, please. And then I fall asleep and it's the next morning, Well, that's not exactly true. I wake up quite often in the middle of the night, but and I just wonder what that's all about. The reason why this ties into the Christmas time thing is that sort of feeling free, feeling like you are your purest self, like you are your, almost like, when I think about what it would be like to die and go to heaven and be an angel, that is sort of what the closest that I can compare it to is what it felt like to be a child. And that makes I was raised Catholic, and that's a whole other discussion. I don't want to get into all the religiousness, but in Catholicism, that is a huge, and I think in a lot of religions too, a huge thing is, that to be divine is to be a child, is to have that sort of childlike wonder and childlike innocence. That's very much, part of it. We're starting to kind of get cooking here. We're starting to get cooking here, because there's no cardboard or kindling in there anymore. This is just the logs. Now we'll see what happens. Sometimes this starts to go out, but I'm going to keep feeding it, just so we get a nice solid fire going. And I suppose that there's this sort of joke going around, everybody's 12. I don't know if you all have seen that. But it's like everybody just either thinks that they're 12 now. I think that it's, I think it's certainly an interesting cultural observation. I think you can debate it. You can debate the validity of it and the semantics of it. But what the spin that I would put on it is that certainly everybody wants to be 12 again. Certainly everybody wishes that they were 12. And certainly everybody is trying as much as they can to get back to that original sort of childlike freedom and innocence. I've heard that there's some, like, I've never seen them, but people who camp out here tell me that when the sun goes down, then the spiders start to come out. So I'm looking for some spiders. I don't see any, but that's why I'm trying to get this fucking fire lit so that I have a light source before the light fully vanishes. Maybe I need to rearrange it a little bit. Let's see here. I am going to get it to work eventually. Okay, so just be patient. I also don't, because I have to carry all the embers back with me and then throw them in the dumpster, I don't want to add too much wood, because then I'm going to have too much fucking wood. Well, that really didn't help at all. That really made it a lot worse, actually. Hang on. I'm telling you. I really love fire. I really love making fires. I love looking at fire. I love setting fires. I'm not in an arsonist type way, but one time I stayed in a cabin that had a fireplace, and that was just one of those moments where but again, it's never like I return to that childlike freedom. It's just that I sort of like forget, you know, I just space out, and I will sort of lose awareness of that, of the existence, you know, and lose awareness of my body and things, but just because I'm not paying attention, you know, like that's sort of what it'll be like when I'm sort of in a creative flow state, as they say, or if I'm, you know, looking at a fire. And it makes sense with a fire because it's like, really, if you think about it, our phones are just a fire, you know, like, that's the other thing. When I have a fire, that's the only time that I don't look at my phone or even have the urge to look at my phone, because I think they're both the same thing. You know, it's like cavemen, we feel the same way about looking at our phone than we felt about fire back in the day. Back in the day. I can feel that we're close. I can feel that we're close. Come on, baby. So Christmas, I do start to think about that, because that's just, I think, a really good sort of it's very emblematic of that, because Christmas used to be, like I said at the beginning, Christmas used to be the happiest that I ever was, you know, ever. And now it's like, it's kind of just another day. I mean, I certainly don't, when it's Christmas, I'm like, you know, okay, yeah, it's Christmas, great, you know. And people have told me, like, well, if you have children, then that'll change, then you'll like it again, because you'll like making your kids happy. But, you know, I mean, I don't want children. Come on! Stupid fucking piece of shit. Come on. Maybe if I keep hitting it, it'll do something. I'm telling you. I cannot, I have to do this, because if I make this whole video and at no point the fire starts, that it will be such a humiliating failure. So this has to work. It has to work. At some point. I don't care what I have to do. I have to remember on the way back to get more Monster, because I'm out of Monster. This is not an ad for Monster, by the way. So, you know, okay, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can find some more things that could function as kindling in my car. Be right back. I'll let you look at that. Fucking stupid shit. I have my microphone on my shirt, so that's why when I'm walking over here, you can still hear me. All right. Oh, perfect. Oh, yes. Oh, this is great. Oh, thank the Lord. Oh, hell yeah. All right, guys. This is going to work. Speaking of Monster, isn't that funny? Uh-huh. I always get a big bulk pack of Monster. You know, and so I'm out of it right now. But also the good part about being out of it is that I can use it for kindling. The bad part of being out of it means that I'm out of it. All right, this is gonna be it. This is gonna work. This is so nice. You can bend it like all the way back down. It's pretty neat. Okay. All right. Stand back. This is going to be intense. Wow, I'm looking at the viewfinder at how great the lighting would be if I actually had made this fire correctly. Look at that. Oh, that'd be perfect if I could just get it to fucking work, but I can't get it to fucking... Sorry. I'm close. I can tell that I'm close. It's going to happen very soon. I'm very close. What is fire anyway? You know? It's kind of the same as water. No, well, it's the opposite of water, but I mean like in the sense that it's just this weird sort of thing, you know? And it's interesting that there's only, I mean, there's more, I guess, if you think about like liquid nitrogen or something, but there's only like two big things that are just things, like fire and water, you know, and air, I guess, but why are there only two? Why are there those two at all? You know? Why is anything anything? Okay, no, sorry, I gotta keep it focused. Okay, we're very, 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 very close. Very, very close. Very, 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 very close. Very close. So, you know, I've talked before about how I don't, mostly the reason why I don't want kids is I just feel like I'm too selfish, honestly. And ironically, I think that, you know, if you ask me, I think that a lot of the people who do have kids actually are doing so selfishly because, you know, they're not really thinking about, like, does the kid want to be born? Or they're not thinking about, like, if they're alcoholics and they're depressed and they have that in their family, I don't know, what are the ethics of bringing someone into the world, into a situation, either from your hereditary, emotional, psychological, or like literally into a bad living situation, you know? So it's unfortunate because I think the people who how do I put this? Well, I don't know. I guess maybe one day, you know, maybe one day. I'll never say never, you know, but it's just that I don't know. I think that would just make me feel very trapped because, you know, even when I was dating someone who had a dog and we lived together and it was like 24/7, that dog needed to be with you, or you needed to know where it was, or would, you know, if I remember coming home from work one day and all I wanted to do was take a fucking nap. But the dog was busting the door down to get into the bedroom. And I couldn't even get a damn nap. And that just made me think like, well, I really can't have children then, because I don't want something that constantly needs me. It's going like, daddy, daddy, wah, 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 wah. You're like, shut up. But maybe one day when I am sitting in a big empty house all alone, I'll finally be like, what kind of life is this? Maybe then I'll just keep talking to the camera, and therein talking to myself. Anyway, I keep trying to divert the focus back to Christmas. But I guess, the whole thing about how everyone wants to be 12, I think that it is true that sorry, I kind of forgot that I was recording there for a minute. I think that the best, part of being alive is when you're young, when you're a kid, and everybody just wants to get back to that. So yes, everybody's 12, but of course they want to go back to being 12 because that's the last time anything happened in their lives. That's the last time they felt happy. That's the last time that they felt free. And that just seems so unfair to me. Why would it be like that? Maybe it's because the life expectancy of people used to be so small that you just wouldn't live longer than, you wouldn't live that much longer into your adulthood, I don't think that's it at all, actually. Sorry, I'm just checking the battery on my sound recorder. And I do think that's also why, sort of our whole culture revolves around nostalgia, if you think about it, all of our movies and TV shows. I mean, just look at any given time, look at what's on TV, look at what's in the movie theater. It's all just, reboots and remakes of things that we all watched when we were kids, or not even that we watched when we were kids, like the generation before us that's currently in charge of making all this stuff. And people now, the most entertainment that people are willing to consume is stuff that just turns their brain off, or like Star Wars or Batman or Spider-Man or superheroes or things that are intended for children, and everybody sort of wants them to be like, everybody wants to not feel bad for liking things that are for children, so they want their movies and TV shows that are about childlike things to be adult. So they want I don't know. It's just another way of trying to get back to that being a kid. But it's not possible. And I think in general about how how nostalgia really is dangerous, because the things weren't that good. Like when time passes, I guess I'm talking about even into adulthood now, like I'll be nostalgic for the way that things were a couple years ago, but it's like, that sucked. That was not good. So why does my memory play a trick on me that makes me think that it was good? Uh-oh. There's a car stopping. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Okay, no, I don't think they're coming over here. Okay. Please. Oh, okay. I thought that they were turning in here. I'm in something called a wash, which is a dry sort of river. A wash, or a warsh, as people would say in the East Coast. All right, come on. God damn it. I'm a fucking failure. Everything I do sucks. No, everything's fine. It's this stupid, I think it's this stupid. It's either the wood or it's the container. Or it's me. I'm a fucking idiot, failure, piece of shit. No. No, it's fine. Well, all right. No, I can't get discouraged. I can't give up. I have to keep making this stupid fire, and I have to keep talking about whatever the hell I was going to talk about. Well, I guess I don't really know what the conclusion I'm trying to reach here is. I guess there is none, really. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to be a kid again. You know, everybody wants to pretend that they're a kid again. Everybody wants their kids, everybody wants to have a kid so that they can live their child years again vicariously through that kid, you know? Nobody ever really wants to be in the present moment because the present moment sucks. Why would anybody want to be in the present moment when you're at your shitty job, you know, or when you're sitting in traffic? I mean, everybody goes. There's no present moment anymore at all. We don't have a present moment. You know, our present moments are looking at Netflix shows, looking at our fucking phone. We don't even exist in the world anymore, barely, you know. Nobody has friends anymore, in real life at least. Nobody goes anywhere and does anything. So it makes sense that everybody just wants to be a kid again, because that's the last time they actually did anything. That's the last time that they actually existed and had anything to live for at all. This is never going to work. I should just give up. No, I can't give up, because then what am I going to do with these giant logs? I have to burn these into embers. Because I can't take them back in my car. See, and this is what I'm talking about too. Now I have a fucking headache. You know? It's like, why is it like the default feeling is bad? It's like my default feeling and emotion is just ugh. And it's like, if I can get better than that, great. But it's like a constant effort to try to get better than that. Which I guess it makes sense because then you think about, like, you think about the first fish that walked out of the land, or walked out of the water onto the land, right? Why did he bother? Or why did she bother? Or why did they bother? Why not just sit there in the water? What was the impetus? What was the motivation? The sort of wind that fish got to go out of the water in the first place? Was it the same feeling that this is? Was it the same discontentment? Was it the same sort of restlessness? And so maybe that is a gift. Maybe because, it sucks in the moment, but if we didn't have that feeling, we would never do anything. We would just still be the pond of stagnant scum. But then you sort of get into the question of, like, well, to what end in general? But I don't know anymore. This was supposed to be about Christmas. Who cares about Christmas? Honestly. Bah humbug. Is that a spider? I'm about to freak out. I'm about to tip this fucking thing over, and I'm about to just... Shit. All I wanted to do was set a nice fucking fire. I've been sitting here for an hour feeding newspaper into it. For an hour straight. Hang on a minute. God almighty. Okay, well, the fire's lit now. Whoop-de-doodle. Whoop-de-fucking-doodle. How great. It's a teeny fire. It's just this one little end of the wood. But that tells me, that sort of shows me that it probably is because the wood is wet. Because it took an hour for it to dry out enough to light on fire. Hear that crackling? Thank God. Thank fucking God. Right at the point where I was about to completely give up and lose my shit. Sorry. I just like looking at the fire. I'm trying to enjoy the rewards of my labor. I'm also now upset because I think that there's a chance that I may have knocked one of the stupid switches in my pocket with the sound recorder. Eddie, sorry. That's your problem, pal. Not quite time to see stars yet. There's a couple, but it is out here, particularly in the town called Borrego Springs. They have like an ordinance, so it's like, so the lights, actually, as a matter of fact, you need to wear a fucking headlamp in order to be able to see anything in the whole damn town. All right, hang on. This is good because now we have embers. And if you have embers, then you have fire. God damn, took fucking long enough. God almighty. I swear to God. So let's see. What else is there to discuss about the nature of existence and the human condition? I guess that's it. I guess I kind of figured everything out. Just joking around. I'm telling you, something about just looking at it. I feel totally tranquilized now. You know what I'll say also? It's true that the highs of being a kid are not quite as high anymore as an adult. But also, I think that the trade-off and what makes it worth it is the fact that, when I was a kid, I think maybe nostalgia also is playing a little trick on me. Because when you're a kid, you feel, it's a double-edged sword. Because it's like you're sort of, you don't have any responsibility, you don't have to worry about anything, right? But that also means that you're trapped because you have no agency in your life at all. So that's good, because then when you are allowed to have something good happen, like when you are sort of given these experiences by the world, like Christmas and holidays and birthday presents and all that stuff, that feels amazing, because it's like the hand of God is reaching down and giving you all of these wonderful things. And but the rest of the time in your life, you're just sort of at the whims of the people around you who are controlling you, And that's still the case as an adult, but I will say that as an adult now, I certainly don't feel that way that I used to when I was in high school.
you know, which I think is probably one of the most difficult times because, because it's like you're close to being grown, so you're really, really starting to realize that you don't have any freedom, and that doesn't make any sense. And I'll always say that there is no way that life could ever get any worse than it was when I was in high school, when I was a teenager. It's kind of crazy how horrible it is in general for everybody, It's amazing that anybody makes it out of being a teenager alive. It really is. It really is amazing. I gotta get something from the car. You guys can watch this for a little bit. Testing. All right, I'm back. Hello. Oh, Jesus. I need to fucking rearrange myself and lay down. Okay. God almighty. Oh, man. Jesus Christ. I don't know if you can even see me like this now. I need to get a little closer. I just don't want to burn my face off. Hi. Oh, yeah, so I don't know, who fucking cares? I don't have anything else to say. I wore myself out. Let's just sit here. something that makes me feel better is remembering that ultimately we really don't matter at all. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it. But I don't know. You think about like what I said at the beginning about how being out. There was actually one time I saw a picture of a ski resort, and they had a sign that I really loved and that I think about all the time. Because it said, don't go past here. It was like a warning sign. And it said, don't go no further, because, and it was like on the side of the ski part where you're supposed to ski. And it was like, don't go further. These woods will be just as dark and cold tonight as they were 200 years ago or 2,000 years ago or something like that. Because it was in the middle of nowhere, it was in nature. For some reason, that just fills me with, I know that it's a sign that's supposed to scare you into staying on the path at a ski resort, but that just fills me with such a profound peace, and it's the unfortunately, you could also be like, well, no, because of the light pollution, or because of the ozone layer. And global warming obviously is real, but maybe then we need to increase the scale, because probably in 10,000 years from now, global warming won't matter. No matter how much damage we did. Maybe 10,000. Maybe that's too short still. Maybe 50,000. 100,000. Let's go 100,000. 100,000. 100,000 years in the future. What the hell is that going to be like? And that's not to say that we should not care about anything, because it doesn't matter what we do at all. It does matter, because it matters to. Oh my God! Oh, that was that was the ball on my Santa hat. Oh my God, that scared me. Oh God, that scared me. I thought it was a fucking Bigfoot monster. What was I saying? Now I completely forgot. Oh man, I was just right in the middle of a nice poetic thought. Oh man. It does matter what we do, because was that actually my Santa ball? Sorry, I just want to look real quick. It does matter what we do, because ooh, flashlight. It does matter what we do, because it matters to all of us and each other. There's that old saying, we are the universe experiencing itself. I believe that's an old Chinese proverb. I'm just joking. It's not. It's like a Reddit thing. An old Reddit proverb. That'll be what they say 10,000 years from now. And then Reddit will be considered like the Tao dynasty or something. I know that the Tao dynasty is not a thing. Just making a little joke. It's getting chilly. I have to grab a jacket. Okay, be right back. Don't let the fire go out. Oh, it's dark out here. It's dark out here. Goodness gracious. You know, the funny part is, since it's like winter time, technically this is rush hour still. So all the, you know, because I am close to the road, you might have been able to, I don't know how much you can see in here, but you know, you might have been able to see and hear the cars passing, because you know, I think it's only like 5:45. So everybody's going home, coming home from work, and the like, you know. I would love one day if I make enough blue gentlemen's, maybe I can get a desert house. Casa de Henschel. Casa de Henschel. I didn't feel too bad just then. This is pretty good. It's not bad. But again, you know, I'd put it at a 7 or 8 out of 10. You know, maybe an 8. If I think about it. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe thinking about it is the problem. Because when I don't think about it, I don't know. I'm not even thinking about it. You know? Come on. Don't go dying on me now. We're just going to have to rearrange her. Let's see here. Okay. I don't know who the hell would still be watching this at this point, but whatever. Everybody who, if there were people who were watching this and falling asleep, they woke up when I had that false alarm with my snowball hat. But maybe now they're going back to sleep. My microphone broke last week when I was making that tool fog video, so I had to get a new one. I was surprised that did so well. Tool fog. Oh shit, Thule fog. Why the fuck would that be the way that you pronounce it? So stupid. Thule fog. Thule fog. All right. Well, I guess that's it. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. Or Happy Holidays, or whatever the fuck it is. When I say Merry Christmas, by the way, when I talk about Christmas, I'm doing it in a secular way. Just for the record. And the stars are starting to come out now a little bit. Just a little bit. I can't believe that those are so far away. All the way over there. Why is anything anything? That's the note that I would like to end on. Why is anything anything?
Ugh.